Hey everybody, Rich Noto here, Florida licensed realtor, Florida licensed home inspector, Florida noted public with loan signing agent certification, your construction trained realtor. And you know, it's so important to me, and it probably should be so important to you, to have a house that's very well built. You know, I always want my customers to have the best built house. So, you know, after you're in a builder's contract, and of course when I'm there with you and I'm also on the contract, you know, just to be clear, that's when I'm able to help you to build a house. You know, sometimes people, what they do is, you know, they enter a contract and then they call me and then they think that they can still help. You know, it's been a pretty interesting 2 weeks or so with people calling me that have already been in a contract with another realtor, and two of them hired a family member and the other person hired a friend. It was like the friend of a friend's sister or something like that. I don't know what it was, something like that. Anyway, like the friend of a friend's sister. Anyway, all three of these, and now, you know, they're having issues with construction. So, you know, that doesn't have to be you. You know, make sure that when you do pick and choose a realtor, make sure that they have some kind of background in construction, you know. Selling new homes, you know, is something that a monkey could do, because the reason why I say that is because all you have to do is put a pen in the hand of the buyer to sign the contract, and the monkey could sit there and do absolutely nothing, because the builders teams do everything. They do all the paperwork, they take care of pretty much everything. So like, what is the agent really there to do? I mean, of course there's some things that they can do in the beginning, of course, but it's really during construction. And construction, if you were to compare like the incentives that you get like in the beginning versus a well-built house, what that's going to save you, the well-built house is always worth so much more than any incentive. So, you know, just something to keep in mind. I'm going to go inside and check out this house called a 21, I think it's a 2107 from KB. Now we're out in Sandal Key, which is in Weeki Wachee, Florida. And this is one of the communities with the Lagoon. So think about like Epperson, Angeline, Sierra, Marata. I know there's one I'm forgetting right now. I feel like I'm forgetting one, and I think because I think that there's like 2 or 3 on the way, I think, that are you know, in the process of starting to be built, or maybe there's already 2 that are like fully completed. Epperson is pretty much completed with new homes. There's not much out there anymore from the last time that I saw it. But anyway, let's go inside. Because, you know, I always talk about construction issues, construction defects. You know, it's important to understand Florida residential code and manufacturer's installation instructions for homes. And when your agent doesn't know any of that, I mean, you know, of course they're pretty much going to vanish, because it's like, what are they going to do? Stand there and stare and smile? I mean, kidding, but not really, you know? Like what are they going to do? Oh, beautiful butterfly. Look at this. Yeah, don't fly away. There we go. Yeah, in the crunchy section. So the 2107, I believe I have some videos of this. Ah, yes, this one. I like this house too. I always just wish that this one had a bathroom on the first floor. I just think that that would be great if it did, you know. Put my hat in my pocket. Because it feels so spacious when you first walk in. Now the thing with KB that you have to understand is that, you know, when you see the price of a KB house, when you see the base price, okay, the base price is not going to include like all the stuff that you see in the models, okay? Like the covered patio, you know, the lanai, that's typically an upgrade. And usually there's 2 or 3 different sizes of that. But there's a ton of stuff that you can add and upgrade. So to get, you know, the cheapest price, you have to just, you know, take it as is. And, you know, most people don't. You're probably looking at a, you know, a 5% or 10%, add to the price. So, just consider that. And of course, as I've said, my service is use it or lose it. That's all it is. You could use it or you could lose it. The house is not going to cost you more. You're not going to get a better deal for going alone. None of that insane craziness that might be talked about. I heard all that stuff before I was even a realtor, and it's just lies and a lot of nonsense. So you always want the facts. Now this is a laundry room. Now this is the garage, so it says please watch your step. There's your garage. So this is like a place where you could put a little table, put your keys down, your bags, whatever when you come in. And it's shared again with the laundry. See, I just feel like over here with all this space, putting a little stand-up shower, like one of those 3x3s would have been great. Of course, this kitchen is excellent. I mean, I like it. How it, it all goes around. Nice amount of countertop space. And again, it feels very spacious in here. Yeah, great loft too. So this house is really, a good option if the 2566 is a little too big or too expensive. And of course, now this is the master bathroom that we're in. Of course, the difference is like with this one, there isn't a full bathroom on the first floor. Now I don't know if there's an option in the upgrades for it or not, but I believe with the 2566, that is an upgrade to get a full bathroom. I could be wrong. You got a nice big closet too. It's a big closet. This is the kind of closet that like if you had like, a child, like a newborn, you could put the crib like over here, so it's close. The child's close during those early, that early year or 2 or 3 years, whatever you might need while they're still small. Yeah, great loft. And of course, KB is Energy Star certified. So they build a little bit differently. Because there's like 4 builders that have the Energy Star, and they all build a little bit differently from each other. What you're going to get with each is going to be different. So it's more complicated, I guess you could say, too, of a build because of that. Again, there's so much that you need to know in the process that when you go alone, you really do yourself a huge disservice. Take your time, do your research ahead, and think it over before you just run off into the sales office of any builder. I can't stress it enough because, as you know from my videos, I've been the victim of horrible construction. So, you want to do everything that you can to prevent it. And when your house is built right, you don't have to worry about spending money on repairs. When you go alone, you might want to have a good $70,000 in the bank for repairs, just to be safe. And also if you have to move out of the house into like a hotel or rent something while your house is being fixed. I was looking at this. This is awesome. Operation Sorry. Man, I remember these from a kid playing these. Wow. Clue. I don't think I ever played Clue, actually, as Scrabble. Monopoly, and that's, what is it, Parcheesi? I think that's how you say it. I remember playing that, and as a kid, I guess it was like Sorry. We played that. Operation, that's our friends who had this. Monopoly, played that a lot. So great loft, yeah. And like this over here, like this is always an upgrade. When you see these spindles, you know, it's an expensive upgrade too. Otherwise, you know, you just get like the half wall. And what I mean by the half wall is it looks like this right here, just that it goes up. Yeah, very interesting house. Like this house could feel like a little bit of like a luxury house if it's heavily upgraded, in my opinion. Because again, you know, like you could see over there the cabinets, they've got those big cabinets. I think those are the 42s. All right, thank you for watching and stopping by. I do appreciate yous. Please check out my website at richnotohomes.com.